A very good afternoon to each and every one who has joined in for this webinar. It is my honor and privilege to welcome each and every one of you to the very first session of the Tally Partner Digital Enablement Program. So before we start session number 1, I just want to spend a couple of minutes on this program that we have started for all our partners. This is something that we started in December of last year. We did a pilot with a few partners in India because we gauged the need of most partners who wanted to complement their offline activities, their offline efforts to run their business with digital marketing initiatives. And we at Tally Solutions felt that we can probably pitch in a little bit and be able to guide all of you to adapt some best practices in the world of digital marketing, and which is why today we have this series of webinars exclusively for you. Today we not only have partners joining us from India, we also have a good amount of partners who have joined us from the Middle East as well. Welcome to you also. For the partners who have joined us exclusively from the Middle East region, we also have Priyesh Sethi, who has joined us on call. Priyesh Sethi is our person who's handling our digital marketing initiatives in the Middle East. So for any MENA specific queries, you can always reach out to him at any time, either during or post the webinar. Before we start the webinar, I just want to put some ground rules in place so that we have a smooth webinar going ahead. First of all, please feel free to make your notes. And second is, it is quite natural that when we are going through this particular webinar, we might have a lot of questions. I would like to encourage each and every one of you to please go to the questions panel. Every time you get a question, please go to the questions panel and write your question there. What we will try to do is we'll try to take logical breaks during this entire webinar, and we'll try to answer 3 to 4 questions at any given point in time. We anyway have a dedicated section right at the end for about 15 to 20 minutes, where we will try to answer as many questions as possible that you have asked us. But again, do not worry. We will definitely reach out to each and every person who has asked a question, and we will be happy to solve your doubts and your queries. So with that very small introduction in place, let me also introduce myself. My name is Pramit Pratim Ghosh. I'm part of the marketing team at Tally Solutions, and I'm handling social media initiatives at Tally. And today's webinar, which we are starting right now, is best practices of social media marketing. The time at the moment is 3 p.m. So what we will do is, I can still see a lot of people who are joining in on this particular webinar. So we'll just wait for a couple of more minutes. Sharp at 5 p.m. we will start the webinar. So the first topic that we will talk about today is Facebook. People across the world use Facebook to connect with friends and family, as well as to discover or learn more about businesses. It is more important than ever for your business to be where your customers are. It can be expensive to build and host a website or to create apps for your business. And that is why Facebook provides you with a free presence on all devices where people are already spending a lot of their time. I'm sure that most of the partners who have joined us for this particular webinar here, I'm sure that all of you would have definitely taken advantage of this glorious platform of Facebook. Some of you would have started probably Facebook profiles dedicated for your businesses. Some of you may have started Facebook pages dedicated for your business in some level or the other. What is really interesting to note also is that creating a website is also perceived to be more difficult than creating a Facebook page. And therefore, there are many such instances where we have also noticed where some of our Tally partners, they are actually having a Facebook page even when they don't really have a website. And I think it is one of those low-hanging fruits in the world of digital marketing. You can go to social media, you can start building a presence there, and in due course of time, you can move on to some of the other things. So the first thing that we will address while talking about Facebook is that how do we start creating a business page on Facebook? So the first thing that you need to start your business page on Facebook is that you need to have a personal profile. Without a personal profile, it is impossible for you to start your business page. So creating a Facebook page is extremely simple. As you can see right now on the screen in front of you, I have opened my personal Facebook profile in front of you. All you need to do over here is you need to go and click on the create button, which you see on the top right hand corner in the menu. And then you need to select page from the drop down menu. Once you do that, you will come to this particular page, which says create a page, and it gives you two options. It gives you an option of business or brand, or community or public figure. Now, given that most of us are in the are actually doing business, either the business of software or software along with computer components or any other associate business that we have, the bottom line is that we are all doing some kind of business, and therefore the best option for us to choose here is business or brand. We can click on get started. Once you come to this particular page, you will see that you need to enter a page name here. So let's just assume that I have a company which is called as PPG Enterprises. Let me just enter the name. And Facebook here also asks you for a category to describe your page. Now you can type a word or two into the text box that best describes your type of business. So now if we choose to enter something as software, so you see the moment I type software there, I see a lot of options which have opened up: software company, information technology company, computer repair service. So Facebook will prompt you for what category of page that you really want to create. So let me just at the moment select software company. The point to be noted here is that you can add a maximum of 3 categories for your business here, and you can change the category and name of your organization later if you need to. But at this point in time, a maximum of 1 category can be added. Later, when you are adjusting the settings of your particular Facebook page, you can add further categories onto the same. Next, you need to fill up things like your address and your phone number. So here, I'll just put up the official address of Tally Solutions. So here we go, AMR Tech Park, Hosur Main Road. City we can put as Bangalore. Phone number is optional. If you choose, you can put it up there. Also, if you can see, there's a small notification here which says that don't show my address, only show the town or city and the region that this business is in. So if you tick this box, the page will be live, but your details such as the address and the town and the city will be hidden from your page subscribers or whoever comes and visits your page. But having said that, again, because we all are businesses here and we're talking about how to use Facebook for business, you would obviously want people to discover you. You would obviously want people to know your address so that they can approach you and they can know that this business exists. So recommendation here is that you don't tick this box and then you click on continue. As soon as you do that, you will come to the next section which says adding a profile picture. Now, profile pictures can help more people find your page, and they will also be able to recognize it in all your posts and comments and more. So you have to be really careful while picking that right profile picture for your page. And what best can be your profile picture rather than your business logo? So all you need to do is you need to stick to the prescribed dimensions that are prescribed by Facebook. For the Facebook profile picture, the square dimension usually works out the best, and Facebook prescribes a recommended size of 170 by 170 pixels for this particular profile picture. And once you actually upload a profile picture by clicking on this particular button here, you can adjust it, you can crop it, you can drag it to a new position, increase or decrease the size so that it fits properly onto your ad profile screen. Skipping this for the moment, we'll go on to the next section. The next section is Facebook will ask you to add a cover photo to help express your page's identity. You can either upload a photo from your computer or you can choose from one of your current Facebook albums once you have started populated your Facebook page's albums with a lot of photos and images. If you want to make sure that nothing is cropped out of your image after loading it, we recommend using an image that is sized 828 by 315 pixels. So that is the recommended size that people usually follow for the cover photo. which is there. And nowadays, Facebook has also come up with a lot of exciting options. You can also actually have a cover video for your cover photo, which actually is very much engaging. And that is it. These are the bare minimum fields that you need to fill in order to actually bring your page alive. And then you can see the page is created. You have PPG Enterprises, and you have all these other things which need to be filled in due course of time. So now the first thing that you need to do when your page is set up is you need to go to settings. And here you will find a whole lot of setting options which are there exclusively for you, which you can use to populate information about your Facebook page, about your business, and which will actually help people find you on Facebook. And it will also be useful for people who are following your page and they want to seek some additional information from you. So we'll go to the first tab which is visible, which is the page info tab. So when you you go to the page info tab, immediately Facebook shows you a notification. The first notification right at the top, it comes as an exclamation mark. It says complete your about section so that people can find about your page more easily. So that is something which we'll visit once we come back onto the main page. But if you look here, the first field is a description field. So a description field is nothing but a brief summary of your page, and the limit is 255 characters. You can fill it with the most important information about your business, like your business location, your value proposition, what you do, so on and so forth. And you can actually save and you can proceed. And you can see so many other fields as well. Here you can see the categories field. If you remember what I mentioned a while back, the categories field is a software company which we had filled when we started creating the page. Over here, you can actually go ahead and search for some more categories. So now, if you would also want to add something to do with computer company, maybe you can also add that as a category and you can save it over here. Then, of course, you have the fields contact number. You can select the right country code here. You can enter your phone number here. Your website. If you people have a website, and I'm assuming most of you partners will have a website, you can add the website URL here. You can add the email address here. You can add location of your office here. A very good practice here is also to add the hours of operation. It actually sets the right expectation with your Facebook page followers as when can people actually approach your business for any need or any requirement. When can they expect a response from you? They should be aware of which are the times that you're working, which are the times that you are not working, so that everything is set as a right expectation with them. And then, of course, you can add some more information such as impressum, which is basically nothing but a Latin for terms and conditions of your company. If you would like to put anything up there, you can put it. Products that you deal with. So obviously, this is the place where you mentioned Tally ERP 9, Tally Server 9, and any other product that you may be dealing with, any other SKU that you may be dealing with. All these things you can populate in this particular section. And not just that, there are so many other things here as well. My earnest request to each and everyone who will be starting a Facebook page, or you have already started a Facebook page, is to go to this particular general settings and go into each and every one of these tabs. And each and every one of them will have a range of settings that you can actually set for your particular business. For a while, we'll go back to the page. And if you just see the section on the left-hand side, you will see that there are some tabs which are already populated here. Home, posts, events, reviews, videos, photos, about, community groups, office. Now, I hope you remember that small notification we saw when we went to the settings page. It said, first and foremost, fill out your about tab. So we'll now click on the about tab. Now, if you see, it is just like a small dashboard of few of the most crucial things which have been picked up from the settings tab and which is here for your immediate consumption and for your immediate action. So here, the first thing that they have asked you is the address. If you want to enter the phone number from here, you can do that. You can edit your categories from here. You can edit your business's name from here. And now let me show you a very interesting feature here, which is called as the Facebook username. So one thing is, what you choose to call your Facebook page is nothing but your page's name. But there is something which is like a Facebook URL, which we call as a Facebook username. So every page also has a a single and a unique Facebook username. No other page in this world can use the same username as you are doing. So now Facebook actually gives you an option of creating your own custom username, which you can use, and you can actually tell your followers, or you can tell people who are connected to you, whenever they want to tag you on Facebook, they can use this particular username to tag and mention you in their posts. And this is something which is like your own personal Facebook URL. So let me just try and put some usernames. For example, for my company, which is PPG Enterprises, if I feel that my username should be PPG Productions. So there you see, if some username is already available and already being used by someone, Facebook will stop you from using that particular username. So therefore you cannot take it. So now if you want to name it something else, for example, if you want to say PPG Productions Dubai, for example, just to make it very, very specific onto your business, you can actually edit the same over there. And see, the username PPG Productions Dubai has been created for PPG Enterprise. So now the thing is, you can share this username with all the people who are connected to your business, and they can use that to mention you, to tag you in other posts. Apart from that, also in the About section, you will find other key important areas like enter your email address, enter your website. Another interesting thing that I would like to show you here is edit other accounts. So this is that one place where you can also add other social media accounts to your Facebook page. So if you just look at this section here, this drop down menu, you have Instagram, you have Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube, WhatsApp, Pinterest, LinkedIn, so many other social media tabs are there. So if you are also present in all these other mediums, this is the place where you can go to, and you can add those products also here and link them to your official Facebook page. And then, of course, this is also something really exciting here. This is something which is called as a story. So if you would want to probably tell people about the story of your business, maybe something simple like when you started your business, what was the year that your business started, or some other details about your business. If you want to put up probably a nice photo which really represents your business, I don't know, maybe your storefront or probably some other thing that you would want to put up, this is the place where you can put up that business story image, and you can also populate a story over here. You can tell people about your business. So now we have probably gone through most of the basic stuff. We will now jump back into the settings tab. I'll just quickly take you through certain other things that we can probably do at a very basic level just to start off our operations on Facebook pages. So one thing that I would like to draw your attention to at this point in time is templates and tabs. So now if you see here, Facebook offers you a lot of templates depending on what type of a business you are. So if you just see here, the current template that is available is standard. And what are the features of the standard template? You can see that there are some default tabs that appear in a particular order. So you obviously have a home, you have posts, you have events, reviews, videos. Now, if you want, you can probably, if you're of the opinion that, okay, let me make it easier for my people to access my photos. So you can probably push photos up, you can probably push videos up, and you can play around with this these settings over here as well. Suppose you really don't give any offers as such. So you can just choose to turn it off, and it will not appear on the left-hand side section of your Facebook page. But the most interesting thing that you can do here is you can actually edit it here, and you can choose from a range of templates that Facebook has provided to you. And now again, coming back to the same point, given the fact that we are all businesses, the business template is obviously the best suited template for you. Let's just have a look at some of the other templates. So you have venues, so probably movie theaters or drama theaters, they will probably use that kind of a template. If you are an NGO, you would probably want to use this, a non-profit kind of a template. If you're a politician, there's a template for them as well. If you are into some kind of services, restaurant, shopping, you name it, you have it there. But as probably a Tally partner, probably as a business who is there into software, you can use the business template. So there you go. You can just look at all the default tabs that are available there, and you can also apply that for your particular business. Probably one of the last things that you can do before setting up your Facebook page completely is, if you just notice here, there is this bright blue color button called as add a button. It is nothing but a way to get people to take an action from your page, such as probably shop or sign up for something. So let's say that you would want to be, determine certain particular process or some action that the person wants to take once they click the add page button. So it can be something such as make a booking with you, or probably contact you, learn more about your business. So probably what I can do is I can just click on learn more about your business. And now there's a video which you can upload here, or probably you can just click on learn more. The moment you click next, then it asks you, where would you like this button to send people to? So now, while the name of the button has changed to learn more, you can probably very smartly add your website link here. And then the moment people will click on that particular button, they will be redirected to your organization's website link. So not just that, if you're probably more eager to meet up with your customers or probably your prospects and you want to have a conversation with them, what you can actually do is, there's so many things that you can do. You can click on contact now. You can probably click on this button. You can add a phone number so that whenever they will press on that button, it'll transfer into a telephone call which you will receive at your end. Or probably if you just want to receive messages, you can just make it as a send message button, and automatically messages from your prospects or customers or people who want to reach out to you will come to your messenger, will come to your inbox, and then basis that you can take some more actions. And of course, once you configure all these things, the next thing that you can do is Facebook also gives you a permission to test this particular CTA button to see if things are really going as per intent. So once you actually add a button here, say, suppose if we have selected a messenger button, the moment you hover your mouse here, you can see test button, and therefore you will be able to just probably type some random message here and see whether the message is really reaching your inbox or not. So yes, I think we have covered the majority of the section, which is about how to go about creating a Facebook page for your business. But now, creating the Facebook page alone doesn't really stop or doesn't really end the deal. What you need to also do is you need to now post content on a regular basis onto your Facebook page. And not just that, once you start posting content on a regular basis to your Facebook page, you also need to keep track of insights to see how your page is doing, which of your posts are performing well, which of your posts are not performing well. And in short, your page should be engaging and informative to show your audience that you're an active and trustworthy business. And to do this, you need to start posting updates about your business as soon as it has gone live. So again, creating a post is probably one of the easiest things that you can do. The experience, to be very honest with you, the experience is not much different from what you probably put up a post in your personal Facebook account. It is not very different. You can write a post here. But while writing a post, you get a lot of options here, which you will probably not get in your personal Facebook thing. So you can add a photo or video here. You can add a feeling or activity here. You can check in here, tag products here. So these are all the things that you can get access to when you're posting something on your Facebook business page. However, Facebook has done something really interesting of late. Facebook has come up with something called as publishing tools, which is available in a separate section of Facebook, which is called as the Creator Studio. So maybe for some of the first time users, a Creator Studio may not be immediately available. But if you just look into this section, this is that place where you can really get the option of creating various types of posts. I'll just try to show you a quick example here. So if you click on this create post button, and there you go. Now see the options which are there. You get the option of sharing a video, sharing a live video, and there is option called as multimedia. Now, when you go to multimedia, look at the options that Facebook has made it available for you. It is not just that you can post a single photo or you can post a single video, but you can also create a photo album of probably multiple images. You can create a beautiful photo carousel, which is nothing but a scrollable photo screen, which you can put it along with a link, probably of your website or to some other property that you want to take people to. You can create a slideshow where you can add 3 to 10 photos to create a video out of it. You can also create an instant experience. So see all these options that Facebook has made available for you. If you just see this option, which is not immediately available for new Facebook page creators, there's something which you can also do as a poll. And creating a poll is actually a great way of ramping up engagement on our Facebook page. So depending on what you want to communicate, there is a host of options that Facebook can offer you. And obviously, it goes without saying that visual content helps you to enhance your online presence. And definitely, as you start this is a regular practice, you will find that videos have a tendency of getting more number of views and getting more number of engagements comparing to static images. So even in our Facebook page, which we follow for Tally Solutions, we try to maintain a healthy mixture of static images and videos, and also other forms of content such as carousels and things like that. And once you start posting content on a regular basis on your Facebook page, you can also see certain things. We'll just go back to the page right here. Facebook will also give you the option of pre-dating and post-dating your post. So it might be possible that you may be wanting to post something at a specific time, which is nothing called but as post scheduling. So you get a lot of additional options which Facebook offers you. You can schedule a post for a particular time of the day. So you can actually schedule something on Friday and make sure that the post goes live early morning on Monday if the requirement is so. And also, there are certain times when you would want to move around a particular post on the timeline of your Facebook page so that you space out your posts in a kind of an equal manner, so that whenever people are on your page, they're not cluttered with too much of information at one shot, but they're able to consume your posts at regular intervals of time. So all these options are there available in your Facebook page. And of course, once you start your Facebook page, the best thing that you can probably do is you can put up 3 to 5 posts before you invite anyone else to your page. The best people to start with is to obviously invite your co-workers, your customers, people in your business network and friends. And another good practice that I can immediately tell you about is once you have created your Facebook business page, you can share your page link on your email signature or emails that you probably send out to your customers or your prospects. Definitely, you can put up a Facebook button on your website and post that there. Tons of things that you can do to promote your page once you have actually started creating your Facebook page for your business. So that was all about that I had to share about creating a Facebook page for your business, and what are some of the ways to get started, some of the ways that you can adjust your settings to make your page more effective for your customers, your prospects, for your followers, and also the practice of starting posts, whether it is image posts or video posts or any other type of content that you would want to share, and how to promote your page. So now that we have gone through that particular process, it's my honor and privilege to also show you some of the things that we have been following as an organization as far as Facebook is concerned. So now if you look at my screen at the moment, the page that you see in front of you is the Tally Solutions Facebook page. So now if you see the Tally Solutions Facebook page, you have home, you have posts, you have photos, you have videos, you have reviews. All these tabs are there in the Tally Solutions because we have, as you rightly must have guessed by now, we have selected the business template for ourselves. And then you can just scroll down and see all the content that we have been sharing. So now I'll just start from a same roadmap that I kind of took you through when I started designing that particular page for you a while back. So here you see we have put our organization's logo as the official logo, the profile photo of our page. Then what we follow as a standard in our company is we keep running a lot of these campaigns for our prospects, for our customers, for our followers. So as a practice, what we do is whenever we are running a particular campaign, we try to create a cover photo which is consistent with that particular campaign, and we put it up there. So now I don't need to tell you, you being Tally partners are obviously aware of what's happening on the ground and what is the hot thing at the moment. And without a doubt, it is the 6.6 browser-based reports. I'm sure many of you are aware that we ran a campaign called as Kahi Bhi Safe Bhi in India. And if you can see that we have put up a cover page consistent with the same. And in fact, I will also try to show some of our Middle East partners that we have a Facebook page for Tally Solutions Middle East as well. So now, while the report was the same, while the release was the same, we had a different campaign which we ran in Middle East and in some of our other geos, which was hashtag Save Data Everywhere. So there you can see we have put up a different cover photo which is consistent with that campaign there. So now, if you just, I would like to request each and every one of you at your leisure time, you can probably just scroll through the Tally Solutions Facebook page and just go through all the content that we have shared. So you can see here, we have just started a new campaign called as hashtag Business Nonstop. We are sharing some tips and tricks for our customers, for our audiences. There's something which is called as a Tally Learning Hub, which is a video series of learning Tally. And so many other types of posts we keep putting up. We try to share a Tally tip once in a week. There's so many other themes of content. So the point I'm trying to make here is, by showing you all this that we have done in our Tally Solutions Facebook page, is that the standard posting protocol, which most people, most social media marketers around the globe, they follow for Facebook, is 5 posts a week, or probably 1 post every single day. And it is very important to have a calendar in place before you actually want to start posting content on a regular basis. Sometimes we think, okay, it is Facebook and we can just probably go ahead and share whatever we feel like. Probably that approach works for a personal Facebook account, but when it comes to a Facebook business page, while the topic is still social media, we need to be a little bit more careful, and we need to have an organized calendar of the content that we really want to push for those who are following us. So it's a good idea to pick up a particular theme of content for each day of the week, and we can create content on those same lines, and we can push that on Facebook. So this is some of the things that I just wanted to share with you as far as Facebook as a social media tool is there, which is available for you. And let me also answer probably a very big question, which I'm sure will be there on your minds. You might also be thinking that, okay, we have started a Facebook page, we have created everything, and we need to, where do we get the content from? We might not get the content right from day number 1. Where do we get the content from? So in that case, I would like to encourage each and every one of you, please do follow our Tally Solutions Facebook page. For people who are joining us from the Middle East, please feel free to follow the Tally Solutions Middle East Facebook page. Every single day, we are putting a host of content out there, and you can share that content on your particular page. It's very simple to do it. You can just go at the bottom of every post, and you can just click on the share button, and you can post it on your important Facebook page. And also, there are so many other things, so many other tools that are available today in this business environment, which you can use to actually create good looking images, good looking videos, which you can create and you can put it up there. So you might have heard of tools like Canva. Befunky.com is a great website to create interesting collages. So many tools out there which you can use to create engaging content and share that on your Facebook page. And yes, at the same time, what we also need to keep in mind is, while sharing content, we also need to keep in mind local laws which are defined for our respective countries. So my assumption is, and I may not be completely correct here, my assumption is that India, when it comes to India, I believe we don't really have so many number of norms and rules and regulations in place as far as social media is concerned. And therefore, in India, you might think many pages you will observe out there who have put up content as per what they feel. But when it comes to countries in Middle East, specifically for people who are joining from Middle East, there are certain do's and don'ts of social media that you have to follow for your respective regions. You need to keep that in mind and make sure that whenever you want to share any particular content out there, it is consistent with the local laws and the legalities of your respective countries. So yes, that brings me to the end of the first section of today's webinar, which was all about Facebook. What I will do right now is I will just take a small break of 2 to 3 minutes. If any of you have any questions regarding whatever we have discussed so far, I'll be happy to take up those questions at this point in time. And let me see if we can take up about 3 to 4 questions. And anyway, we can take up the rest in the final question answer session right at the end. Yes, how to invite people who are not friends on FB to like the FB page. So the question has been asked by Pratik. So Pratik, the thing is, when you create your Facebook page for the first time, yes, you'll obviously be at 0 followers. So as I told you earlier, the first thing that we can do is we can share the Facebook link with people with whom we are personally connected on our Facebook accounts. Those are the people who are the easiest to catch. If I have 2 categories, we are Tally certified partners and education partners. So how to mention the categories? So Sarfaraz, I believe I would have answered that question. You can just go, when you start a Facebook page, you have the option of selecting only one category, but you can also do one thing. Later, you can go back to settings. You can go back to the general settings and you can go to the category section. You can add 2 more categories of businesses and you can select that for yourself. So in your case, you can probably put it up as, a computer software. You can also put up education, probably the best 2 categories considering your nature of business. How to land people on my page directly. So Asim has asked this question, how to land people on my page directly. Asim, the answer to this question is, when you open your Facebook account, you will obviously land up to your Facebook profile. It is the same for everyone. So there is no way to make people land on your page directly. The only way they will land up to your page is if they have the intention of searching your particular business on Facebook, they'll land up on your page. And otherwise is if you have put up some interesting content out there and they are and they see that content in their particular feed because some of their friends have shared it on the feed, that's the only time when they will see that particular post and they would have landed on your page. Apart from that, as I mentioned earlier, there are ways where you can run ads on Facebook and you can get the attention of people who are not connected with your business directly, and they will also start getting notifications and they can land up on your page. Is there any charges for a Facebook account? Question asked by Gajendra. No, this entire thing what I spoke about so far is free of cost. Can you use this facility on a personal Facebook page? No. A personal Facebook page will have a very limited options. You will not be able to use the same thing for your business. If you want to really effectively have a presence for your business on Facebook, Facebook pages is the best thing to do. Okay, great. I think a lot of questions have come in here. So good to see that all of you are listening very intently to this particular webinar. Thank you so much for that. I really apologize for any issues that you may have faced because of the audio. I have changed certain settings from my end. I hope I am a little bit more audible at this moment. So yes, I'm not able to take up all the questions at this point in time, but the promise is we will try to revisit some of the questions that have been asked towards the end. And so great. What we will do is we will revisit certain questions towards the end of the webinar when we have a dedicated time for questions and answers. At the moment, what we will do is we will wrap up the section on Facebook and we will go to the next important thing, which is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, again, very, very similar to the way it works to your Facebook. Facebook, you have 2 parts of a Facebook experience. One is you have something which is called as a Facebook profile, a personal profile, and you have a Facebook page. LinkedIn also has the same functionality. LinkedIn also allows you to create a LinkedIn profile, and you can also create a LinkedIn page, a LinkedIn company page for your business. So there you can see at one end is my personal LinkedIn profile, and this is the official Tally Solutions Private Limited company page to which I serve as one of the admins. So now, as far as LinkedIn is concerned, what we would like to recommend and suggest to everyone who has joined in today here is that it is extremely important, and this is a very important point because this is how LinkedIn is essentially different from Facebook. In Facebook, when you talk about a personal account is purely personal. You will use your personal account to connect with your immediate friends, family, so on and so forth. What you post on your Facebook personal account, you will definitely not be posting on your Facebook business page, and vice versa. But LinkedIn by itself is a professional platform. So you can actually exploit LinkedIn in both ways. One is you can actually go ahead and create a LinkedIn page for your business, and that will help you establish who you are. So now today, I'm assuming that there are a lot of people who have joined the webinar today who are the business owners of the respective businesses. So they can actually create a business owner profile for themselves, and they can prepare a profile where it'll be their photo, their cover photo, things that they have done, how they are connected to the business, whether they are business owner or whether they are a sales resource or a service resource, things that they have done, people that they are connected to, industry associations that they are part of, probably some of their achievements. It helps to build your brand as a business owner on LinkedIn. So what I will do is the next about 10-15 minutes that we will be sharing about LinkedIn, I will try to first talk about the LinkedIn personal profile and how you can use that for your business. And then we will move on to the LinkedIn company page and we will see what we can do there as well. So the first thing is, don't just treat your LinkedIn profile as a networking tool. On the contrary, your LinkedIn profile is a dynamic online asset that should be updated as regularly as possible. So anytime you or your company receives a new testimonial, or you win a particular award, receive a new accolade, or complete a successful project, you should showcase that accomplishment on your LinkedIn page. So this is just my LinkedIn page. I have tried to probably update certain things like how long I've been working in Tally, what are the various projects I handled, what are the various certifications that I have, where I went to school to, and so on and so forth. So this is exactly what I'm asking each and every one of you to do as a business owner, so that it helps you to build your brand on LinkedIn. So now the minimum fields that you need to focus on. First is you need to have a headline. So an about section, which probably tells the world about who you are and what are your interest areas. The basic info about the city. Excuse me. The minimum field. Hi everyone. Apologies for the inconvenience. I think I temporarily lost net connection. One of the many virtues of coronavirus, we are all working at our respective homes. This webinar is also being given from home, and you might as well imagine the net connection which is there at various parts of India sometimes acts extremely funny. Apologies for that. We'll try to resume. I'll just try to go back a few steps and resume. So yes, I was talking about this section, which is your profile section, where this is the option where you can put up a professional headshot, what we call as a good photo for your LinkedIn. You can also have a very good cover photo that you can put up here in your LinkedIn as well. So here is a quick idea for business owners. What you can actually do is, while you can have your photo as your face as the profile picture for your LinkedIn, you can actually have your company's logo or probably some particular campaign that your company is running as the cover photo. So that gives people a very professional look and feel. When somebody lands up on your LinkedIn page, they can understand that you are a business owner of so-and-so organization, because they can see both these images at the same time. And then other things that you can update is a headline which talks about what you do, your work experience, which country, which industry you belong to, and therefore also a professional URL, which you can also add on your LinkedIn profile for other people to view. So now if I have to share with you certain tips and tricks of how to maintain a professional LinkedIn profile. The first thing, which I've already told you before, is having a professional profile photo and a background photo. You don't necessarily need to go to a professional photographer, but your headshot should represent your company and attract the people you want to serve. What we need to remember here is the photo needs to be professional. You have to remember that this photo represents you and your profession. Tip number 2 is promote your LinkedIn profile. Always include a link to your profile, again, in your email signature, refer people in your network to your profile, and consider including your personalized LinkedIn URL on your business card. Third is regularly share content on your LinkedIn profile. So it is very important that you keep sharing some blogs or videos, or probably write something of your own once in a while. In short, you have to figure out a way to stay in top of the mind on your updates of your profile, your connections, so that other people see value in following you, and ultimately they see value in following your company on LinkedIn as well. Next is optimizing your profile for search. So here also, I would like to probably introduce a concept which we call in the digital marketing world as SEO, or search engine optimization. My colleague Priyesh Kumar, who handles SEO at Tally Solutions, will be taking a detailed webinar on SEO in the future. But this is something which is extremely useful. The core concept of SEO, if I have to tell you in one line, is very simple. You may have amazing content out there on your website, on your online presence, but if it is really not optimized for search, if it does not contain those key, crucial keywords which people are actually searching online, all that content will not really be that effective. So the same applies to Facebook, the same applies to LinkedIn, the same applies to YouTube. In LinkedIn as well, you can do a little bit of research to find out that which are those keywords that people use when searching for the type of services that you offer. So now, if you feel that people are searching in your area, in your particular area, if people are searching for accounting services, or if they are searching for inventory solutions, or they are searching for compliance solutions, then you may consider putting up probably in your summary or in your description, or probably in some blogs that you write and put it on LinkedIn, that it is you can mention those particular words there, so that when people search for those words, they may come across your LinkedIn profile. You can similarly optimize your summary, which is a very good place to actually have a very good, almost a paragraph long description of who you are, what kind of benefit you and your company offers. In short, if a prospective client reads your summary, the feeling that they should get is, or the questions that they should answer for themselves is, how this can benefit me? Can this company help me solve my business problems? Giving prospects the answers that they're looking for will help bring them to your door. And finally, there's a place in LinkedIn where you can actually add your contact info as well. So you can determine what you want them to do. You want them to visit your website. They want you to contact you by mail. You want to make them call you for a free consultation. You can add as much contact information as you want, as you are comfortable providing. So that was all about LinkedIn profile. And I think before I conclude this part of LinkedIn profile, the last and final tip that I would like to share with all of you is a very good idea as a business owner is to be part of relevant LinkedIn groups. You'll find a lot of groups out there. So now, for example, I'm talking about my partners in India. If you are somebody who wants to search about, or wants to be part of GST groups, you can just search GST on LinkedIn, and over here you can just look for groups, and there you go. You have an indirect taxes GST group of 13,000 members, GST India group 15,503 members. So many other groups which are available there, whom you can actually be a part of. What is the advantage of being part of these relevant LinkedIn groups is like-minded people who are in the same space as you are, who are operating in the same zone as you operate in. They get to notice you from there, and they will come to your LinkedIn page. Ultimately, they'll come to your website, and that will be an added advantage for you. So that was all that I wanted to share with you about LinkedIn profile. Now we will go to LinkedIn company page. So here is our official Tally Solutions LinkedIn company page. So again, similar to a Facebook page, here also there are so many things which are available to you. Obviously, what you can do is you can start a post from here, you can share an image, you can share a video, you can even share a document. Also, very important aspect, same as Facebook, it is very important to keep posting something or the other on your LinkedIn business page from time to time. In Tally, we follow a frequency of minimum 3 posts every week, and just have a look at some of the posts that we have put up. So we just put up some job postings. We wish people on important occasions. We welcome people whenever somebody has joined our company. We welcome that particular person. We are doing some promotions to show the world that we are together with our prospects and customers in this fight against Corona in the Business Non-Stop series. And important updates of our employees who would have gone out for some outings, the work-life balances that we would want to talk about, so many types of posts we have put up, and this is something which is for our partners in the Middle East. We recently put up a post where we had collaborated with the ICI Dubai chapter, and we had done some posts along with them. We tagged them in this particular post as well. So the idea is you must be very clear in your minds about what exactly it is that you're using your Facebook page for and what exactly it is that you're using your LinkedIn page for. I think that demarcation should be extremely clear. If I have to talk about myself and I have to talk about the way we manage Tally Solutions, we are using our Tally Solutions LinkedIn page exclusively for doing our employee-centric programs, or talking about employee centricity, employee initiatives. So therefore, most of the posts that you would see in our LinkedIn profile is more to do with our employee activities and any awards that any of our employees would have got. When our senior leaders get published in some leading publications, we have a line of posts for them as well. But if you look at our Facebook page, in our Facebook page, we talk more about certain things such as which are purely customer driven. And again, just to draw a demarcation here between different regions. Today in this webinar, we have partners both from India and in Middle East. In India Facebook page, we have recently crossed 3 lakh subscribers. Most of our customers are our followers on the Facebook page of India. And therefore, most of the content that you will see in our Facebook page for India will be customer-centric material. But if you look at the content which we share on our Middle East page, you will see and you will notice that most of the content is prospect-facing, because Middle East is still a market where we are developing in, where we are still looking to attract more number of prospects and hopefully converting them into customers. We also do have a Facebook page for Bangladesh where we have a lot of prospect-facing material going out there. So in short, the message that I'm sending out here is that you may have multiple handles on social media. You might have Facebook pages for different countries, for different regions. You might have a LinkedIn page as well, but it's very important to have a communication strategy for each of these respective handles. And what you need to have is a clear-cut calendar, which you can probably set at the beginning of the month, and you set up a plan that you're going to post about this particular thing on so and so day. If you have this plan, then it becomes very easy for you to actually go out there and post those content, or whatever ideas that you're having, whatever you want to communicate for your prospects, for your customers. You can post it on a regular basis, and people will be enthused to follow you on social media and react to your posts as well. So that was all about LinkedIn that I had to share. So before we jump into the third part, which is YouTube, I will again go back to the questions panel and see if we can take up a few more questions on LinkedIn, or probably even Facebook if we would have missed some questions in the past. So again, the time now is 4 o'clock. We just spent the next 5 minutes addressing a few questions. Mr. Rajaram has asked a question. Can you suggest any tools that can help you post on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter all at once? So yes, Mr. Rajaram, we do have a lot of tools out there which help you to post on multiple platforms at the same time. So there is one tool which I know of, which is called as Sprout Social. It kind of helps you to add all your different social media accounts at one place. And you can actually plan very meticulously that which day, which post you want to put up on which social handle. And not just Sprout Social, there are many more other similar tools also which are there in the market, which you can explore. The prices obviously range, have a good range, so you have to kind of evaluate that and take things forward. While that is the answer to your question, I will also probably pick up an unasked question from that same question also. I hope that you're not talking about posting the same thing on FB, Insta, LinkedIn, and Twitter at the same time. Because as I just mentioned a while back, doing that may prove to be counterproductive. So as I said, yes, you can probably use one aggregating tool like Sprout Social to kind of manage your social handles together. But the attempt should be to have individual communication strategy for all your respective social media handles and see if you can engage audiences with that. If we create a post from Creator Studio, a question about Facebook, but no worries, we'll take it up. If you create a post on Creator Studio, will be available on a page directly? Yes. So Creator Studio is nothing, Mr. Malik, but a central place where you can actually create the post using the wide range of features that Facebook has offered you. And once you do that, you will be able to, you can create a post. If you are posting it immediately, it will be available on your page directly. If you are scheduling it for later, it will appear on your page only when it is supposed to go live. Page promotion is asking for page promotion. Is it chargeable? Yes, Mr. Kaja Hussain, you're absolutely correct. Page promotion or even post promotion for that matter are all paid efforts. Do not worry, we will have a separate webinar where we will talk about all these paid aspects of social media and how to go about it. You showed how to, Ms. Nupur has asked, you showed how to make a page, but the account you used was your own. I want to know how to make a company's account. So yes, so Ms. Nupur, how it works is that yes, I did use my own Facebook account to make a Facebook page. But then what you can also do is, I'm sure that, let's put it this way. I'm sure that you in your company might be having a resource who is supposed to handle social media. Let's assume for a moment that you yourself are taking that role. You yourself decide that you are the person who is officially going to handle your company's Facebook page. So all you need to do is, anybody else in your company may have created your company's Facebook page from their Facebook account. But then all they need to do is they need to add you as an admin for that particular page. And once that happens, once you log into your Facebook, you'll be able to see these are the pages that I manage. And that is how you can manage an official Facebook page using your personal account. In short, if I have to answer your question, there is no such thing called as a personal and a professional account. All accounts on Facebook are personal accounts. Using those personal accounts, you can manage a Facebook page which is professional. So Facebook doesn't view it like that. It's just that you have to be very sure that the person that you want to manage your Facebook page is a person who belongs to your organization, those checks and balances, and that particular user has to be added accordingly, and you're good to go. I have multiple certified branches. How can I maintain different pages with different address and contact numbers? Brilliant question by Chaitanya. So Chaitanya, Facebook offers something which is called as locations. In order to access locations, you will actually have to go to, let me just quickly show you. 1 second. So for that purpose, you actually have to go to something which is called as Facebook Business. Once you create your Facebook page, Facebook allows you to create something which is called as Facebook for Business, which is a more advanced portal to manage your Facebook account and also to run ads for your Facebook company's page. In that section, there is something which is called as locations, and using that locations, you can actually manage, not only manage, you can create different pages for different addresses, and all those will be part of a main page. So again, that is something which is an advanced feature. We will probably show you that when we are talking about Facebook accounts and Facebook ad manager, when we explore that chapter in our subsequent webinars, I will show you in detail how to actually go about and maintain different locations for your same company. A very good question, and I think relevant for most of our partners also. I'm sure we have many of our partners who may have an office in India and an office in Dubai, and you may want to have different Facebook pages for different locations. So I think that's a great way to maintain that on Facebook. Just 1 more minute, and I'm just searching for some questions about LinkedIn. I can see a lot of people are enthusiastic about using Facebook, both organic as well as paid. That's extremely good to know. I'm sure that many of you are actually already doing that. So that's really very much appreciated. And I'll keep all this in mind when we have the webinar, which is on Facebook paid initiatives. I'll definitely be sure to take note of all these questions and address this in that particular webinar. Just quickly surfing through for any questions that you may have asked, which is with regards to LinkedIn. Mr. Rajaram has an interesting observation here. Somehow LinkedIn groups have many members but no activity. They are dead. Other way around, every groups are active but stand. I kind of agree with you. Yes, Facebook groups are usually tend to be more active in terms of people responding, putting up their queries. Facebook is generally still perceived by a lot of people as a forum where people can actually talk about the problems that they're facing for the business. So yes, I kind of agree with you. LinkedIn is still perceived as a little bit of a professional platform, and people are a little hesitant to talk a little openly about the business challenges that we're facing here. So yes, probably it's a good idea to also be part of Facebook groups. The idea of joining LinkedIn groups is just to make sure that you are connected with the people who are in the similar industry as you are. It is just your way to make sure that you are right on top of all the current topics and current concerns which are in place in the professional forums, and that you are able to kind of utilize that information to see what better it can do for your business. Okay, great. I think one final question that I will take before I move on is, I think I have been requested to show how to create a LinkedIn page, a LinkedIn company page. So let me just go back to LinkedIn for a moment here. Yeah. So if you just go to this particular tab, if you just followed the way I took the cursor, there's this particular section on your default view of LinkedIn, which is called as work. And there you can actually go ahead and create a company page here. There are some other LinkedIn products also which you can take advantage of, which are all advanced features. But you can create a company page here. And when you're creating a company page also, please notice that LinkedIn is giving you a lot of options, similar to what happens for Facebook. So in LinkedIn, they will ask you, is it for a small business which is fewer than 200 employees? Is it for a medium to large business which is more than 200 employees? Is it a showcase page? Now, showcase page is something which is extremely interesting. A showcase page is something which is like a sub page which is associated with your existing page. Showcase pages are usually done for products that your company is dealing with. So now, obviously, this is something which quite surprisingly, we actually have not yet done it, but we soon plan to do it. But suppose if you as a Tally partner have some exclusive SKU which you are dealing with, you can actually go ahead and create a showcase page for that particular product. It will be a sub page which will be associated with your company's main page. And that is also a great way to engage people who are passionate about the product and who are on LinkedIn and who are willing to follow you. They can actually get in touch. You can probably roll out product promotions, various kinds of offers on that particular showcase page. And once they consume that on your showcase page, they can always come back to your LinkedIn page and be a part of the main theme of posts and content that you put up there. So showcase page is also an option available to you. And finally, LinkedIn also offers something which is exclusively for educational institutions and schools and universities. Probably a good idea for the TILs, the Tally Institutes of Learning. You can probably, if you are wanting to create a LinkedIn page, a good idea would be to create it as an educational institution. So that is how you go about creating a LinkedIn page for your business. So yes, great. So I think we are doing good on time. The time right now is 4:15. So now what I will do is I will get into the third and final section of today's webinar, which is about the most engaging platform in this world when it comes to social media, and that is YouTube. So yes, what you see in front of you right now is the official YouTube channel of Tally Solutions. We also do have a channel for partners who have joined us from Middle East. We also do have a channel for Middle East as well. So now here again, it is very important, like how in Facebook you have a personal page and a company's page. In LinkedIn, you have a personal profile and you have a company's official page. Similarly, in YouTube also, I'm sure that most of you might be having a Google account. You need a Google account in order to start a YouTube channel. So therefore, if you see right now, it is my particular Google account. While I'm there on the Tally Solutions channel, I'm actually currently on my Google account. So in order to see it from my perspective, what I have to do is I'll have to switch accounts and I have to go to Tally Solutions. And there you go. This is the official account of Tally Solutions, and I'm logged in with the account in Google, which also belongs to Tally Solutions. And here you can see all the various fields. So as I was saying, in order to start a YouTube channel, what you need to do is you need to have an existing Google account, or you can create a new dedicated account specifically for your YouTube business channel. And once you've created your Google account, you can make your way over to the YouTube homepage, and you can just click over here and go to settings I'll just quickly show you how it is done. You can go to settings, and when you are here on settings, you can manage your channel. So this is the button that you press in order to start creating a new channel for your business. So yes, and if you want to view your channel once it is made, you just need to press on channel and you'll be able to see that. So again, let me begin by taking you through what are those things which you need to keep in mind while maintaining the YouTube channel for your business. So first of all, you need to customize your channel. So we'll just click on this blue button here. And there you go. Before anyone views your video content, you have to make sure that the crafted imagery for your channel clicks with your brand. So just like how you have a dedicated icon and banner for the likes of Facebook, for LinkedIn, YouTube also is no different. And the dimensions for the YouTube are as follows. So there, if you see, the YouTube channel also has a channel icon here. And YouTube recommends a size of 800 by 800 pixels, which it displays as 98 by 98 pixels. The reason behind that is so that even when somebody is viewing it on the mobile or probably on a very sketchy network also, the experience or the clarity of the image is a good one. And of course, similar to how you have a cover photo for your LinkedIn page, for your Facebook page, what we have for YouTube is a channel banner. YouTube recommends uploading a cover photo of 2560, so 2560 by 1440 pixels with a maximum file size of 4 MB. So that is a channel banner that you see here. So just would want to draw your attention to the fact, if you have noticed, all the banners that are there on the Tally Solutions Facebook pages or the YouTube channels are consistent. If you remember, I was talking to you about the Kahi Bhi Save Bhi campaign, which we ran in India, the Save Data Everywhere campaign that we launched in MENA. The cover photos are consistent with that particular campaign. So these are some of the small things which helps drive the fact to your followers, to your subscribers, to your prospects who visit your page, that it's a very professional setup and that they can actually trust and rely on this particular brand. The idea is not to surprise them every time they come and visit your page or every time they come and visit your channel. The idea is to give them a very consistent and smooth experience so that they can get something fruitful from your channel as well. So here, after you fill in the images, you can focus on this section here. So one of the things which most of the times, most YouTubers or most businesses who are trying to put up their channel on YouTube forget about is the About section here. So click on the About section of your profile, and it is not just a place to make a personal impression of your viewers, but you can also use this effectively to funnel them to your social profiles or home pages. So this is the section where you actually put up a description of your business. So see over here, we have written that the official YouTube channel of Tally Solutions, subscribe to your channel for latest videos, tips, and announcements. If you want to give your subscribers an email to reach out to you, this is a place where you can add that email and put it as a business inquiry. Here is where you can put your location. And not just that, these are some of your links which can take you. So here also you can map your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, your website. All these links you can provide here so that people can, even if they come to your YouTube channel and they want to check out your other social media handles, they can do that effectively. And then of course, there are certain other things. So if I just click on the videos tab here, this is a place where you can access all the videos that you have uploaded in your YouTube channel. And then the next tab here is all the playlists that you would have made for your particular YouTube channel. So again, starting a YouTube channel and putting all these basic things in place, like the cover photo, the profile photo, the About section is not really a great deal. I think all of us know sufficiently well the most challenging thing when it comes to YouTube is putting the right video content there, because video is the most engaging form of content and it's a make or break deal for you. If your video is not engaging enough, it is not engaging enough and it will not work for you. You have to really do a good job there in order to get the right amount of likes, comments, and shares, and ultimately you should be successful to take people from your YouTube to your website. So we will try to go through some best practices for the YouTube channel. So first of all, let's start with the first tip that I have for you, which is use engaging titles for your videos. So when we put up a video on YouTube, it is better not to just put the first title that comes to mind. While deciding a title for our video, ask yourself that what kind of a title will make me click and see this video, and accordingly try and see if you can put up the title in a manner which is engaging. Ideal title length is somewhere between 41 to 70 characters. And then there are certain titles which work extremely well on YouTube, like 10 best ways of managing your accounts, 3 best ways of moving into the new financial year, or probably certain videos which start with how to immediately attract the attention of the customer. So just I'm taking you through the playlist that we have for Tally Learning Hub. So the Tally Learning Hub, we have uploaded 8 videos up till now, and each of these videos are named in the same convention. You can see all of them start with the word how to, so that wherever a person views this video on YouTube, they'll be able to click on that and they'll be able to see, okay, so how to download and install Tally, how to create a company, how to create ledgers. It's the same experience. And if you see the way I have named them also, there's a particular convention that I have followed. So first I have the name of the video, then I have put a dash, I have put the name of the chapter, and then I have put the name of the series, which is in this case Tally Learning Hub. So it's a very good convention that you can follow. Whatever is the name of your playlist, that is basically nothing but the name of the series of videos that you have made up. You can just put that as the concluding name. You can call your videos as episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, or chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, so that people are able to relate and they're able to understand which are these particular chapters and what is the linearity of content that you have presented for them. The next tip that I have to share with you for YouTube is engaging video content. So product videos, feature videos, these are videos which people like to consume if really done in an interesting manner. Long form videos, which is more than 10-minute videos, generally work extremely well in YouTube. Specific video series that covers a recurring theme or topic. So the Tally Learning Hub is a great example of how you can have a specific video series. So let me just show you some other playlists also that we have. We have something which is called as Customer Speaks. That's also a playlist that we have. So this is a series of videos we use whenever we have to show any kind of a customer testimonial. So over here you see all these are our customer testimonials that we have made live on our YouTube channel. So these are a good way for all our returning subscribers, or probably all our people who want to follow our YouTube channel, a very easy way to guide them to the right content. If they want to check what are other people who are our customers, what are they talking about us as a business, very easy way to do that. The third most important tip that I have to share with you as far as YouTube is concerned is SEO optimize your channel. So again, I'm referring back to the same concept I told you about when I spoke to you about our LinkedIn pages. So probably what I will do is I'll just quickly get into a particular video. Let's say this is a particular customer testimonial of a person who is from Indonesia. And I will just for a moment go to edit video so that you are able to get a wider view of all the various fields that one can put up while actually putting up a post on YouTube. So if you see over here, you will see that there are some basic fields. So you have a title which is required, which I've already spoken to you about. You have a description which talks about what is that, who's that customer who's actually talking about the business or about using Tally. So over here you've seen that I have clearly mentioned the name of the customer. So Mr. Ashish Gupta, Ms. Kartika Sari, and I've mentioned the name of the company, PT Managed Loss Matter. I've talked about the content that they are talking about, which is they were struggling to maintain manual accounts till they came to Tally. I've mentioned that they are based out of Indonesia. I've used the relevant hashtags, which is hashtag Tally Customer Speaks, hashtag Tally for Indonesia. And not just that, I've also, for each of my videos, I put up a section at the bottom which reads, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn with the links. And also I put up the blog URL so that anybody wants to go and read our blogs, they can do so. I've also put my website URL intact so that anybody wants to go to my website, they can do so. If you look at the section on the right, you will see that this is the place where there is something called as visibility. So when you publish a video on YouTube, you get to save it in 3 ways. One is public, one is unlisted, one is private. So it's important for us to understand what each of these things mean. If you want to immediately make a video live, you need to click on the public tab. If you want to publish a video right now, but you don't want anybody else to access the video as of now from your channel, you just need the link live because you're probably going to use a link only for yourself, or you want to share that link only with people you want to. In such case, you can mark it as unlisted. If you do not want to share a link with anybody, but you just want to keep it private for your complete own reference, you can share it as a private link. And similar to Facebook, also, YouTube gives you the functionality of scheduling a video. So you might set everything ready and you can click on schedule. You can set the date and time when you want the video to become live, and it will become live at that particular moment. And then you have the playlists. So yes, we will talk about playlists in a while, but yes, if you can see over here, these are the list of all the playlists that we have maintained for our Tally Solutions YouTube channel. So you can see how we have organized the playlist in a manner so that videos of a similar nature are listed into one particular playlist. It makes it easier for the viewer, for the subscriber, to go through the related content in one particular. Thumbnails. Thumbnails are an important part of YouTube video. Your YouTube video might be excellent, but again, the logic is very simple. When it comes to social media, all you want to do is first catch hold of the attention of people. To catch hold of the attention of people, you must have an equally attractive thumbnail image. So the thumbnail image is something which should have probably a bit of the image content from the original video merged with large font content, so that people are able to read that even if it is very small, and they're able to make that decision. Do I click on this video and see that video or not? So that is something which we need to do. Another important aspect, which is tags. So this is the place where you can actually add all the relevant tags. So whatever are the relevant keywords for your particular video, you can put all those tags here. And again, going back to the same concept I was talking about a while back, we are coming back to the same concept of SEO, or search engine optimization. You need to optimize your content in all these 3 things that I've shown you. First, in the title of the video. Second, in the description part of the video. Third, in the tags part of the video. These are all the places where you can smartly inject the relevant keywords which you feel people are searching on YouTube. And once they do that, they can actually search the video accordingly, and they'll be able to get hold of the right content. So just to share you and explain to you, if today somebody is searching for maintaining manual accounts, if somebody is searching for Tally customers in Indonesia, if somebody is searching for customer testimonials, all of those people will be able to, in all likelihood, see this particular video in their feed when the search results come up, because all these keywords have been used somewhere or the other in this particular website. Thumbnails, as I told you, you can have this particular, you can see that YouTube has also suggested some default thumbnails to you, but it's always a good practice to create your own thumbnail to make it look more consistent, to make it look more professional. Playlists, I already have told you that you need to organize your videos into playlists so that it allows your audience, your subscribers, to get access to the same type of content at the same place. If I have to leave you with the last 2 tips as far as YouTube is concerned, I think the only thing which I can tell you is it is extremely important to publish content on a regular basis. As soon as a video goes live, make a point to let your followers on Facebook and LinkedIn know about it. You can create snippets of previews for your social platform that also links to your latest production. You can cross post. You can let people on Facebook and LinkedIn know that you have put up something on YouTube. You can let your subscribers on LinkedIn know that you have put something on there on Facebook. So these are very smart ways to cross-pollinate the content that you have and ultimately build more viewership of your content, ultimately build more followership for your social handles, and ultimately make more people to come to your website, check out your business, and ultimately buy your products or buy your services. So that was all that we had to share as far as YouTube is concerned. So what I will do is I will just again take a pause for a moment here. We have concluded the YouTube section of the webinar as well. I'll just go on to the questions tab. I'll just quickly go on to the questions tab and see that if there are any specific questions on YouTube, we will take it up in the next 5 minutes. Which is the best tool for recording a screen with sound to publish it on social media? Mr. Tushar has asked this question. Great question, Mr. Tushar. I'm not very aware of many tools that can do that, but I think a tool which immediately comes to mind is something which is called as iScreen Recorder. So iScreen Recorder is a software which actually allows you to record your screen. So it's generally used by people who are product experts and they want to probably show people how to navigate the product. It kind of records whatever you're trying to show on the screen along with the sound at the same time. So what you can probably do is you can just plug in your earphones to your laptop, so that whatever you're doing on the screen anyway gets recorded in the iScreen recorder and your voice gets recorded by the earphone recorder. And then of course you can merge both of them and process it for your YouTube video. Mr. Sandeep Pelku had the same question. So yeah, same answer. How can we make a quality video? How do we design videos for YouTube? How to make videos for YouTube? So yes, I think yes, that's actually the biggest question on everyone's mind. How do we create videos for YouTube? So yes, there are a lot of tools ranging from extremely basic tools to advanced tools which you can use to create good quality videos for YouTube. Assuming that most of you have assuming that most of you are working on Microsoft systems, Microsoft, for example, has something which is called as Microsoft Photos. Microsoft Photos has a video editing software which is called as Video Editor. You can, all it takes is you can take a very basic video on your smartphone and probably edit that in Video Editor. You can probably add a title card, an end card. You can probably put up some text in between the video. So that's a very basic way on how you can actually make up a video. As long as it is engaging, you can actually put it up and use that for your YouTube. But again, this is a very basic tool. There are obviously so many advanced tools out there like Quik. You have something which is obviously Adobe and so many other tools which you can use to create YouTube videos. How to copyright and claim a video? Well, unfortunately, there is no way to really copyright and claim a video. So the way how YouTube really works is that once you upload a video, that automatically translates into a YouTube copyright. It's already created in the backend. And therefore, if somebody else tries to upload the exact same video on YouTube, YouTube actually prevents that from happening. You can actually try it out yourself and see. YouTube prevents that from happening and will put up a message saying that the exact same video is available somewhere else. So therefore you cannot do it. So YouTube already has a mechanism to prevent people to download and use that exact same video somewhere else. YouTube will treat it as a copyright violation. I can see a lot of questions about SEO. So as I've mentioned in my webinar already, we will be having a separate webinar on SEO, which will be coming up in the coming days. So do not worry. All questions regarding SEO will be addressed there. But I'll just leave you with one line, which I've mentioned earlier as well. SEO means that whatever content you are putting up on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, you are just injecting that content with keywords that people are searching on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, so that when they search those same words, your video, your post, your update will show to them. That is the concept. So just if you're asking about YouTube SEO, so yes, I think we have a lot of questions which are coming in, which is about how to make a video and how to merge the video and audio. So yes, can all these sites be integrated to the same time, meaning posting in one site and gets covered in all the social sites? I think that's one question which many people are asking again and again. So yes, again, the thing is that we have a particular we have many such kind of tools. I already told you about something called as Sprout Social, which you can use to integrate all your social media sites, and you can use that same tool to make sure that the same content can be posted, scheduled, managed on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. And similar to Sprout Social, there are many other tools available in the market as well. However, again, a disclaimer from our side, we have to exercise caution. We have to create a social media strategy for each handle. Just creating something and pushing it randomly to all 4 or 5 social handles that you are managing may not be the right idea. You will have to take the call of what is best for your business, what kind of message you want to put in what platform, and accordingly you need to take things forward. And yes, another thing to answer the questions about how to merge video and audio and how to create a video, which tools to use. Yes, somewhere down the line, I think all of you will need to keep this in mind, that if you want to have an active presence on YouTube, and if you really want to create quality content for YouTube, somewhere you will need to invest in specialized resources who will actually use specialized tools to create the video, to manage the audio, and in order to create good videos for your business. So a little bit of investment will also be required. And yes, if you are probably not willing to do that investment right now, which is completely understandable, there are a lot of free tools. As I mentioned, there is Microsoft Photos editor, video editor, which comes along with that. There is something which is called as Lumen 5, which you can actually use to create good quality videos. Some are free, some are a subscription-based model. You can try out all these things and take things forward. Adding videos in YouTube, is it chargeable? No, it's not chargeable. It is all free. Yes. So great. I think with that, we come to the end of today's webinar on social media marketing best practices. And what I will also do is, before we conclude this particular session, I would just like to leave you behind with some concluding guidelines. Yes, I can still see some questions coming in. So today, whatever we have discussed is not the entire thing that we wanted to share with you about social media marketing. Today, we have discussed only the organic part or the free part of social media marketing as it comes with regards to Facebook, as it comes with regards to YouTube and LinkedIn. In our next session, we will be talking about, in the subsequent webinars, we will have a particular webinar which is for the paid session for social media. We will also have a session which will be only to do with analytics. How are you going to gauge the success of your Facebook page, your LinkedIn page, your YouTube channel? We will go through the analytics. The session will be dedicated only for that. So do not worry. We are going to have specific webinars for analytics of social media, and we're also going to have specific webinars for the paid end of social media, where you can ask about how to run ads, how to get more people to follow your page. And yes, this webinar is being recorded. Once it is processed, we will definitely be sharing that link with you. Concluding guidelines. First of all, my earnest request to each and every one of you is, do not copy and paste content, be it in any social media handle, be it in Facebook, be it in LinkedIn, be it in YouTube. It is better to always go to share content from the original page, which is, you can always go to the Facebook page. Suppose if you want to, if you really like any content which is there on our official Facebook page, you can go to that particular post, click share, you can paste it on your profile, you can also paste it on your Facebook page. LinkedIn also, you can do the same. YouTube provides you with a very smart action, which is, YouTube provides you with a tool. Sorry, I think the audio got cut off for a bit there. Sorry. YouTube provides you with an option of liking and saving the video. So what happens is, if you really like a video on somebody else's YouTube channel, you can actually save that video and you can make it as a part of a playlist on your own YouTube channel. So that way, YouTube does not view it as a copyright infringement, and at the same time, the channel that you have liked the video or shared the video or saved the video, that person also gets views, your channel also gets views. So therefore, it's a win-win scenario for both. So that's a very smart way of cross-utilizing content which you really like on YouTube. My second concluding guideline is, keep interacting with people who like, comment, and share your content. It is not just enough to put the content out there, and once you put the content out there, there are bound to be a lot of questions. People will reach out to you, people will ask you queries and doubts. They might want to be interested in your specific services. You have to interact with them, respond to their queries. Third concluding guideline is, please follow the Tally Solutions Facebook page. For our partners who are joining from the Middle East, you can follow the Tally Solutions Middle East Facebook page. You can follow the official Middle East YouTube channel. And please, you are most welcome to follow our global LinkedIn page as well. The biggest advantage that you will have if you follow our page is you will always keep getting notified about all the various types of content that is there, which we have posted up, and probably you can do something similar lines for your respective social media handles as well. And last but not the least, let me honestly tell you one thing. The sole purpose of social media marketing is to make people spend the least amount of time in social media. I will repeat that line once again. The objective of social media marketing always is to make sure that people come to your social media handles and get out of your social media handles as soon as possible. The idea is you have to use social media as a tool to attract people's attention and quickly, as soon as possible, take them to the next step, which is either to land on your website, or either to land into a phone call with you, or either to probably message you for some product or service that you are selling. That is the objective of social media. We need to keep that in mind while we structure ourselves for using social media effectively for your businesses. And again, just a few points that I would like to mention here. I know that there are so many questions being asked here. We promise to try and answer all these questions once the webinar is over. Also, the people who have joined in from India, our partners who have joined in from India, please feel free to reach out to our BMs, our ZMMs for any advanced level doubts that you may have. And also, this is an enablement program that we have just started. Today was only the first chapter, which was about social media marketing. We will have many more chapters after this. We will have social media paid, we'll have social media analytics, we will have Google My Business, we will have email marketing, we'll have so many other things which are coming up. So please stay tuned for our next webinars as well. The next webinar is on the 16th of April. So thank you so much for joining us today. And thanks for asking so many questions. Yes, I have read all those comments, and I know that many of you are actually already have started your journey in the world of social media marketing. That's absolutely great to see. And we will be definitely sharing the webinar recording with you. We'll be sharing some materials with you as well. And hopefully we will see you in the next webinar. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a very great day ahead.